Hi everyone, and welcome back to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
And we're on day 2 of our article about Diwali. Now, Diwali, as we found out yesterday, is the start of the Hindu New Year.
That's right, and the name Diwali actually means row of lamps, which makes a lot of sense because Diwali is sort of the Indian version of the Lantern Festival. People decorate their streets, shops, homes, and whole towns with brightly colored lanterns and lights, a lot of creative designs, and it brings a lot of light and a lot of celebration to this country at kind of a darker time of the year, right? It's at the end of the year, the winter's coming up, so people have this big festival of light.
Yeah, that's what it's called, the Festival of Light. And this also celebrates the victory of light and goodness over darkness and evil. So there's some meaning to it as well. And it's not just India where this is celebrated.
That's right. Anywhere that has a lot of Indian people, specifically Hindu people, the major religion of India, any part of the world that has a lot of Hindu people will celebrate it. Vancouver, Canada, Leicester in the UK both have big celebrations. And we also learned that in fact in Malaysia, Singapore, and Sri Lanka, not Indian countries, it's a national holiday because there are so many Indian people who live in those places.
Now, we talked about people decorating their shops and homes with lights. We talked about sweets and snacks, a part of the holiday. And we talked about sisters inviting brothers to their homes as part of the festival.
That's your family reunion.
Yeah, a lot of cool things going on. But what else happens? Let's find out by reading through day 2 of the article.
Reading.
Diwali, India's festival of light. Each day of Diwali is related to a Hindu legend. However, these stories have different meanings in various parts of India. No matter where Diwali is celebrated, everyone shares a devotion to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and good fortune. People in India leave their windows and doors open to allow Lakshmi inside. Rooms are lit with small oil lamps to keep darkness away, and entrances are decorated to welcome guests. Diwali is also a time to wear new clothing to thank Lakshmi for providing wealth and success. In the evening, fireworks are set off. You will also find colors in the brilliant artworks laid out on the floors of living rooms and outdoor areas. Images of flowers are repeated in circles, made from colored sand, petals, flour, and dry rice. These symbols of nature encourage guests and Lakshmi to drop in. Diwali is the most joyful time of year in India. It's so lively and colorful that it's worth experiencing for yourself.
Okay, so from our first sentence, we learn actually a couple of things. It says each day of Diwali is related to a Hindu legend. Interesting. So Diwali obviously is a holiday that doesn't just take place on one day like Christmas or something. It's spread out over a while, maybe a week like Chinese New Year. So each day of the holiday period is related to a Hindu legend. All right. Well, yeah, a lot of traditions, holidays, myths, things like that do relate to legends. What are legends? They're kind of like fairy tales. They're stories from the past. It's probably not exactly history. It might not exactly have happened, but it's something that has been passed down through a nation, through a culture, from generation to generation, over years, hundreds of years sometimes. There are lots of legends in Chinese myth, right? We know about like Chang'e and people like that. And also in Western legends, we might talk about, I don't know, King Arthur.
You know, good legends there.
Legends there. And maybe he didn't live, but this is a story that lots of people will know about, and it will certainly be a big part of the culture. So, These different legends, every different day, there's a different legend, and this also is part of Diwali.
Yeah, we should point out that the article says, however, these stories have different meanings in various parts of India. Now, India is a huge country.
Yes.
It's got many different cultural and race groups that make
languages.
up like 27 languages in the country or something like that. So it's not surprising that these legends kind of vary. They'll be different in the north, in the south, the east, even between two groups living in the same area. They're all Hindus, but they just tell different stories about it.
Sure, that makes sense. But no matter where Diwali is celebrated, everyone shares a devotion to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and good fortune. So they might celebrate it with a slight different style, have slightly different legends, but one thing that everybody in India and outside of India agrees on for Diwali is that Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and good fortune, she is very important in the Diwali festival. And we have that expression, no matter where. No matter where you go, this is true. Basically, it's just a short way of saying it doesn't matter where. It's not important where. All right, we could use it to say something like, no matter where you go in Taipei, you can find a place to rent a U-bike. They're all over the place. It doesn't matter if you're downtown or out in the country or out in the edge of the city, if you're up north in Tianmu or down south in different parts of the place you can find near an MRT station, on a busy street corner. It doesn't matter where, there will be a U-bike stand. And you know what? No matter where you go in Taiwan, you can also find a 7-Eleven. So there are a few of those things that it doesn't matter where, all right? So basically, we're saying here that in every place that you go in India, every place that people celebrate Diwali, Lakshmi is very important to the holiday and to the celebrations. And in this case, of course, saying no matter where, we're talking about it doesn't matter where. You can change that where to other question words. No matter when, it doesn't matter what time. No matter who, it doesn't matter what person. All right, so we're basically saying don't worry about that. You can do this anywhere. You can find this person anywhere. You can do this at any time.
Yeah, and related to that is the second part of the sentence, which says people share a devotion to Lakshmi.
No matter where.
To share something means to have something in common. It's true for both people, both groups, all the groups, and so on. So an example is, my best friend and I both share a love of acting. We both like acting. We have that in common. So here, what it means is everybody has a devotion to Lakshmi.
That's right. And devotion is basically like love or loyalty. You've really sort of put your life close to this person in a very kind of important and meaningful way. People might have a devotion to their loved ones, to their family or their husband or their wife. People, of course, if they're religious, will have a devotion to their religion, to their God. And hey, if you're a real serious sports fan, you might have a devotion to your team. Even when they're losing and doing badly, you're like, I believe in these guys. They're going to win. They're going to get the championship. Maybe not this year, though. But you have a strong love and a strong connection to someone, and it's hard to break or to damage that because it is very true and honest. You have a good devotion.
Okay, and so what does that devotion lead people to do? We see in the article that people in India leave their windows and doors open to allow Lakshmi inside. It's kind of a way of going, come on in, bring your, because she's good fortune, right? So it's come on and bring, or is it he? I'm never sure with the Hindu gods. I think it's a she.
They said it's a she, yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of want her to come into the room, into the house, and bring that fortune with her.
That's nice. That means Lakshmi doesn't have to find her keys all the time.
Yeah.
Which is also convenient. And what do they do inside their homes to welcome Lakshmi and maybe make it more attractive for her to come into their home? It says rooms are lit with small oil lamps to keep darkness away, and entrances are decorated to welcome guests. So the lanterns, the beautiful lights, don't just stop outside. They bring them inside, they decorate their homes, they hang up lights, like people might do at Christmas or other holidays. And of course, that makes it attractive for the gods, but more importantly, attractive for the families and for their neighbors and guests they might invite inside as well.
Okay, so that's kind of the homes, but people do stuff as well. We see Diwali is also a time to wear new clothing to thank Lakshmi for providing wealth and success.
Oh, that's nice.
So people are like, this is a personal thing we can do to say thank you. Here's some new clothes we're wearing to show you we appreciate what you've done. And in fact, the word clothing just means the same as clothes. Clothing can mean all kinds of clothes. It's an uncountable noun. It's kind of like a group or mass noun. So don't say clothings. It's always just clothing. Okay, here's an example. After she washed her clothing, Millicent hung it up to dry. So again, uncountable group noun.
So socks, pants, shirts, sweaters, everything she might wear, all of that stuff is her clothing. All right, so we decorate our home, we invite our friends in, we wear our nicest, newest clothes, and then it says in the evening, fireworks are set off.
Oh,
well,
fun.
yeah. What's a celebration without some fireworks?
Kind of mentioned that yesterday. That's how I often realize, what time of year is it? There's fireworks going on. Is it Diwali? Is that what's happening?
Chinese New Year possibly too.
If it's October, November, that kind of gives you an idea.
That's true. Fireworks. Okay, there we have this word. Basically, these are things that we shoot up into the sky. They go bang with beautiful colors. We use them for celebrations. They're not rockets, but they are kind of, but they're not designed as weapons or anything like that to hurt people. They're designed to be beautiful, to be loud, to be attractive, and to give people a nice celebration feeling. Yeah, normally we put an S on this. You might say there is a firework, or I'm going to light the firework, but generally, if you have just one firework at your celebration, it's not a very good celebration. So we generally have more than one. That's me really quick.
Yeah.
We generally have more than one. That's why it's generally fireworks. For example, as the fireworks exploded overhead, you could hear people in the crowd saying, ooh, and ah, because that's what people everywhere say when they see fireworks. It's weird.
Now, if you have some fireworks and you want to make them go up and go off, you need to set them off. The phrasal verb set off is to make something start working, and in this case, make something explode. To set off a firework, you kind of start burning one end of it, it shoots up the air, and then lights get set off, makes a sound, could make all three. Other things you could set off include a bomb. If you're talking about set something off, make it explode. Bombs, fireworks, explosions, all of those things you set off.
Yeah, so people will be setting off fireworks all over the place because you gotta, of course.
Yeah.
What else might you do? It says you will also find colors in the brilliant artworks laid out on the floors of living rooms and outdoor areas. Very interesting.
Yeah, color everywhere in this festival.
That's right, even on the floor inside people's homes, in the living room where they might invite the guests and have their celebrations, or in outdoor areas. If you have an area near your house outside, possibly people might even go to parks and do this if they live in an apartment or something. But like with everything to do with Diwali, as we're learning, the colors of these decorations, like the lanterns, like the fireworks, like the clothing, the colors are brilliant. Here, we're using this adjective brilliant to talk about very bright, something that's dazzling and really is a lot of stuff for your eyes to take in. We can use brilliant in other ways. You might say someone is brilliant, they're very smart, but when we're talking about light, we're talking about dazzling light. Light that you might have to close your eyes a little bit. The sun can be brilliant on a bright sunny day. You might have a diamond that shines in a brilliantly or in a brilliant way in the light. It means it's a very sort of striking, powerful, and noticeable light. For example, Stanley put on his sunglasses to protect his eyes from the brilliant light. Bright sunny day, or maybe a winter day when there's white snow and the sun can be very brilliant or bright.
And here we're describing artworks as being brilliant. An artwork is a single piece of art. It could be a painting, a statue, a carpet, a sculpture made out of wood or metal. Anything like that is a kind of artwork. And in this case, they're artworks that can be laid out.
That's right. And when we lay things out, we basically put them down flat on the ground, all right? You lay things out when you're, who knows, cleaning them. If you're cleaning your carpets, you might lay them out and vacuum them or do something like that. If you're folding your laundry, if you have a big blanket or a sheet or a towel, you might lay it out on your bed to make it easier to fold or something like that. And of course, yeah, if you have a big painting and you can't hang it on the wall right away, if you really want to see it, you might lay it out on the ground. Put it down on the ground and then you can move back. It's all spread out. It's all flat and easy to see because it's laid out flat on the ground. So what kind of things would we see in these artworks that people make for Diwali?
Well, we're going to get a description of what they might look like in the next sentence.
Okay.
It says, images of flowers are repeated in circles. So there's a lot of kind of circles, which I guess that looks like a, like a circle of light from a lantern or something like that.
Yeah.
And it says, these circles made from colored sand, petals, flour, and dry rice.
So we're not talking about paint, we're talking about other things
Actually,
that are used.
people put things down to make the art.
To show the color. Flower petals can be lots of different colors. The flour itself, this is, that powder used to make bread, but they can color it.
Yep.
Dry rice could be white or brown or black or other colors as well. Very interesting.
Yeah, and these are in repeated circles. If you repeat something, you do it again. If you repeat something, you do it again.
Could you repeat that?
If you repeat something, you do it again.
One more time.
If you repeat something, you do it again.
Okay, that's enough.
All right, so that is what I just repeated that phrase 4 times. So that's what we mean by repeat something. We've got repeated circles. There are lots of circles. They could be big, small, inside one another, kind of overlapping, but lots of circle patterns again and again. Here's another example. Could you repeat what you just said? I couldn't hear you. So some of these circles are made from flower petals.
Okay, yeah. Petals, of course, as I just mentioned, are colorful because they're part of a flower. They're that sort of beautiful, delicate part of the flower that when the flower opens, what we see are the petals as they spread out. The petals also carry some of the scent or smell of the flower. If you take a petal off a flower and sort of crush it and hold it under your nose, you'll probably get a powerful flowery smell. So the petals are the flower, the actual part of the flower that we find the most attractive, and they're very colorful and they also smell good.
Okay, so all of these circles of rice or flowers or whatever, these symbols of nature encourage guests and Lakshmi to drop in. Like, we like this, we want to come and see it, whether you're a god or whether you are just somebody in the neighborhood who wants to take a look. And they will drop in. The phrase drop in is to visit someone kind of in a casual way, for a chat or for a cup of tea. And often you don't arrange it beforehand. You just happen to be in the area and you ring the doorbell and say, hey, I was in the neighborhood. We could say drop by as another similar phrase. You can drop by a friend's house.
There you go. All right, back to the article. What does it say there? It says Diwali is the most joyful time of year in India. Well, I've never been to India for Diwali. I'm learning a lot about it today in our article. But yeah, it really does sound very, very joyful. Many holidays are joyful, but with all the lights and decorations and inviting people into your home, this holiday sounds especially joyful or full of joy, full of happiness, full of good feelings. You feel joyful when you hear good news or when something good happens to you or a friend or a loved one on any great day of the year. Even if you wake up in the morning and it's a beautiful sunny day and you know you're going to go to the beach with your friends, you'd feel great, you'd feel happy, you'd feel fantastic. You would be feeling joyful. For example, after coming first in the race, the athlete did a joyful little dance. I remember Usain Bolt used to do a joyful little dance.
A lot of football players like to dance.
They do that too. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so as we kind of conclude this article, we can very clearly say that Diwali and the celebrations, it's so lively and colourful that it's worth experiencing for yourself.
Sounds
now,
like it.
Maybe you can't go to India for this, but as we've seen, Diwali is celebrated all over the world. So you might go, oh, Singapore, that's not so far. Yeah, Malaysia, could maybe see it there. The UK has got lots of cool stuff. And if you're in the right city around October, November, You could see some Diwali
Sure.
stuff going on there. All right, that brings us to the end of the article. We've discussed a lot of stuff about Diwali and what happens and where it happens. We've got a little bit more to discuss, though, in our For You chat question.
For You chat.
So how is Diwali similar to Chinese New Year? And how is it different?
Wow, that's a great chat question. We've already seen a few.
mentioned a few, haven't
That's
we?
right. As we were talking about it, it made us think about Chinese New Year because, of course, Pat and I, like you guys, are more familiar with Chinese New Year. But we had family reunions.
Yeah.
That's a big part of both of them.
I like the specific day part. That is kind of similar because on Chinese New Year, you would go to like your parents
Right.
on the Chinese New Year's
One
Eve.
day, yeah.
And it's the day after New Year's Day when you go to like the mother's family. So we're married, so technically we should be celebrating with our families.
Yeah.
Like your parents, my parents,
Right.
on New Year's Eve. And then a few days later, we'd go and see our wives' families.
There you go. That's another similarity. Of course, fireworks. Fireworks are big parts of both of these holidays. And I guess just the idea of decorating and making your home more beautiful.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people at Chinese New Year not only invite family over, but neighbors, friends, things like that. So,
Oh, new clothing.
new clothing.
Yeah,
that's
people
right.
wear new clothes to kind of say, hey,
True.
thanks Lakshmi for the good fortune. And here, they often wear red, don't
That's
they,
right.
on New Year's Day?
I think in Diwali you have a few other colors to choose from,
Yeah.
but bright red I'm sure would be just as popular
Kind
there.
of all about fortune
as
as
it
well,
here.
isn't it?
That's
Luck
right.
and fortune and new things for the new year. And of course, Diwali is the Hindu New Year. So there's that. I guess the difference is I don't see quite so many different kinds of artwork around
True.
at Chinese
Yep,
New
yep,
Year.
yep.
The sister-brother thing is a little bit different.
Right.
And Chinese New Year has a lot more kind of food. We haven't mentioned any special Diwali foods, but Chinese New Year has the thing with the dumplings, the
Yes.
fish, the cakes, and a lot of other things like that going on. So maybe there's a little bit more about food for Chinese New Year.
Who knows?
Okay, well, that is just a few examples. We could probably go on and give a few more, but we're out of time. Thanks for watching, everybody. For English for You, I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Happy Diwali.
Diwali, India's festival of light. Each day of Diwali is related to a Hindu legend. However, these stories have different meanings in various parts of India. No matter where Diwali is celebrated, everyone shares a devotion to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and good fortune. People in India leave their windows and doors open to allow Lakshmi inside. Rooms are lit with small oil lamps to keep darkness away, and entrances are decorated to welcome guests. Diwali is also a time to wear new clothing to thank Lakshmi for providing wealth and success. In the evening, fireworks are set off. You will also find colors in the brilliant artworks laid out on the floors of living rooms and outdoor areas. Images of flowers are repeated in circles, made from colored sand, petals, flour, and dry rice. These symbols of nature encourage guests and Lakshmi to drop in. Diwali is the most joyful time of year in India. It's so lively and colorful that it's worth experiencing for yourself.
Vocabulary Review. Share. Many people in Taiwan share a common belief that their country's food is the best in Asia. Clothing. Tiffany packed warm clothing for her trip to Sweden as it gets quite cold there in winter. Fireworks. A large display of fireworks provided an amazing show as it lit up the night sky. Brilliant. Annie opened the curtains and let the brilliant sunlight fill the room. repeat. The typhoon warnings were repeated on TV every 30 minutes so that everyone would be prepared. Joyful. For Mary, seeing her son again after 5 years apart was a joyful experience.
智慧小补帖
Legend. Devotion. Artwork. Petal.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net